Okay. If I did everything right, you should all be able to see and hear me. And hopefully, for tonight, this works. I'm going to go check on my own stream. I'm going to have another video to delete later. But Streamlabs is frustrating. Yeah, I know. Okay, so what has happened is Streamlabs did an update and it logged us out. And then they changed how everything functions, at least to my understanding. So yeah, I can't even, I'm, the hoops I've had to jump through tonight to have this happen. That's why you had so many freaking YouTube notifications, is because I had to start stream 4 times because I didn't understand what the fuck was happening. But now I've got chat up here. And I can't see my live stream on YouTube anymore. Like from the YouTube studio. So I have like a separate button open for chat because I can't type in chat on stream. I'm gonna need to spend more time when we're not supposed to be live figuring out what the fuck is happening, because it's a lot. And I had like, when I started, 5 minutes to figure it out. So yeah, I think I did it. I think it's working. I think everything's okay. Can I do a poll from here? Okay, I can do a poll from here. That's good for later. Yeah. Okay. Well, it seems like everything is working. Let me check on James and see what his status is. The child does not look like he's asleep yet, so it might just be me for a minute. I'll give myself till 40. I'll give him 3 minutes to see if he can get the child down. And if not, I'm just gonna start podcast. James is on baby detail, so we moved his bedtime up to 8, which is why we're streaming right now. And it looks like I can see him on the monitor. It looks like he's going to try to just put him in his bassinet right now. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. With his bedtime being at 8, we can't papoose him anymore. So James should be in here shortly, it looks like. The child is not asleep, but he has been putting himself to sleep as of late, so I'm not terribly worried about it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, everything's up and running. It's just weird how things have to function right now. I mean, I guess I don't need this here. I can do this. I can do this. Hang on. Trying to make my setup make a little bit more sense. Wapow. Wapow. Yeah, that works. Dumb, but it works. All right. Cool. This is what we're going to do for tonight. I will work on figuring it out later, because I ain't got time for that shit right now. Whew. What a time. What a time to be alive. Technology. Yay. Fun times. Alrighty, so what time is it? I have 1 minute. I'm going to open my beer. Colorado beer, Denver Beer Company, not sponsored, but hey, you know, if you want to sponsor me, I really love your Princess Yum Yum beer. Okay. Okay. We're Gucci. We're good. We are rocking and a rolling. Now that I see James is out of the room, I'm gonna wait for him. He's also listening to the hockey game though, so I don't know how quickly he's going to be here. James? He said hold on aggressively. I am super happy to drink again. I didn't, it's not as fun as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I thought it was gonna be like this revelatory experience when I first got to drink again. It wasn't. It was just kind of like, I've been drinking the whole time. You okay? Right there.
What's broken?
Nothing. Just weird. Oh, we're live. I can confirm we're live because I can see we're live, but I can't watch it in YouTube Studio anymore. And also, chat here, but can't chat in chat on here. Have to open separate window to chat. It works. It's dumb, but it's working. I'll play around with it more later. Don't make me go back just yet. I like my nice overlays. Although they're a lot less important on this format than they were on Twitch. But I do like my nice starting soon screen. Although I still have all my graphics that we could pull from. Anyways, that's not important. You're here to listen about a movie. Right?
I am?
Not you, them.
Oh. Yeah, you.
Are you sad because you lost the Hockey King?
Oh, we're gonna lose, but it's not over yet.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah, I'm frustrated because his ass woke up.
Did I wake him?
No.
He'll
He
go to
just
sleep.
wouldn't stay asleep. I need to put in his feed.
He had a stressful few minutes there, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. Alright, so, nice guys. Here we go. So we watched a movie called The Nice Guys, and it has a lot of really famous people in it.
That Russell Crowe.
Yes, I was
name them all.
Russell Crowe, Keith David. Sorry. Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. Anjali Rice.
Is that Katie Heron?
Yes. Oh my god.
Listen, I didn't.
You could know her from this really good movie or from that god-awful Mean Girls remake.
Yes. I can't unassociate her from Katie Heron.
I feel like you can and should.
No.
Like deeply on purpose.
No, because she did the thing.
What thing?
She did Katie Heron.
Okay.
And it was bad.
All right.
Yeah, okay. We're not here to talk about Mean Girls though. Unfortunately, you guys will never get that podcast because
it'd be pretty funny to do one anyway.
You guys seen the movie. A, you guys have never voted for it, and B, James has seen the movie now. Yes, it is, because I looked at her and I was like, wow, she really looks familiar. And so, of course, I did what I did, and I went to IMDb, and I was like, oh shit, she played Katie Heron. Badly.
I think she acted fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, I mean,
what matters is the nice guys.
Sing. She was put in a musical, and then she couldn't sing. So they like wrote her out of all the songs she's supposed to sing. So
anyway, the nice guys.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm a new father, leave me alone.
I'm a new mom and I seem perky and awake.
Good for you.
Alright, so this movie opens with James going, "This is a mystery, make sure you pay attention and take notes." That's how this movie starts.
It does. If you turn it on in your home, I personally will arrive and shout at you through whatever window I can see you through because you haven't let me into your house. That this is a mystery and you need to take notes. And then I will disappear. And I will disappear into a thin mist and travel to wherever someone else has turned on the next guys to shout at them that it's a mystery and they need to pay attention and take notes. This is my new life.
It's a cursed existence.
At least it's good. At least it's a good movie. I'll be busy.
I don't feel like that many people watch The Nice Guys on a regular basis. I've never heard of it until just now, so...
Well, shame that.
So it'll just really be like a random experience. Every once in a while you'll just be in the middle of life and just poof, disappear somewhere.
But how does the movie really open?
It's giving heist vibes. The music, it feels heisty. Heisty.
It's 1970s music.
1970s feels like heisty.
Okay. Sure.
It's giving heist vibes.
You keep saying it. I don't know if it makes it true, but the vibes that you are receiving are heisty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 1977 Los Angeles, apparently, because I have the Wikipedia plot up.
Let's not forget that we do start with a car crashing through a house.
Yes. I have that.
All right.
Will you let me do my movie review? I don't do this when you do your movie reviews. I let you flounder through the plot first.
Maybe I just wanted to save the floundering.
Go
ahead, flounder away.
There's a it doesn't start with a car crash. It starts with a boy looking at a nudie magazine. Thank you very much.
Okay.
But speaking of the boy looking at the nudie magazine, I never had like that phase in life where I was like obsessed with like naked people. I know it's more of a boys thing that you go through in puberty.
All right.
What?
Seem pretty obsessed with me.
That's as an adult. I'm not saying I went through like the puberty phase of like looking at naked pictures.
Does anyone?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yeah. Well, not everybody, but most people. I feel like it's a standard. See, it's a dude thing. But I know women. I mean, I guess more fanfiction.net is our
the bookstore
is our opening.
The romance novel section.
Not even that. No, just fanfiction. But yeah, so I guess maybe I did go through that phase. Fuck, I don't know anymore.
We're off. Did we even start on the rails?
No, we started talking about Mean Girls.
We've abandoned the train entirely, it feels.
There's a boy, he goes and looks at a nudie magazine in the dead of night, and as he's looking through the magazine, a car crashes through his fucking house. Not like into it, fucking through it. All the way through like several rooms.
Those 1970s cars, they're made of steel and hate.
And then there was a lot of boob.
Just a lot of boobs.
There was a lot of boobs.
Missy Mountain's boobs.
There was gratuitous amounts of boobs. And I said, no way, that's the chick from the magazine, right? And it turns out it is the chick from the magazine. So shows what I fucking know. I'm fine.
They wouldn't do that. They did.
I was like, oh snap.
That's crazy.
It's like
like it was written.
It's like the boy manifested her.
You didn't manifest her dead. Crashing her car through the house.
Don't kink shame.
No. Necrophilia, we do kink shame. That is the one we do kink shame.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I said, what a good kid. Because he, as he comes across the dead body, he takes off his shirt, like, lays it over her chest so she's just not exposed. And that's a very gentlemanly thing to do. So, good on you, small child. Who was very calm and not traumatized.
Oh, he'll manifest later.
Like, it just very calmly takes off his shirt, lays it on her, and is just like, cool, bye. But yeah. Then we get this narration from Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
About how kids like know too much these days. And my note for that whole sequence there was, if you only knew how much kids today know, it's so much worse. it's just the intelligence level of children has gone up exceptionally in recent years. If they thought kids in the 70s knew too much now, or when this was written, which was the 2010s, even then, like, kids now, Gen Alpha is terrifying, and I can only imagine whatever Gen Next is.
The next one, yeah.
I think they are doing Gen Beta, which unfortunate for them, I guess. But yeah, I can only imagine what they're going to be like, because it's terrifying. So I get the sentiment of the narration, but it did make me like retroactively think back and go, wow, if that's how they felt then today is 10 times worse. So he talks about how basically he's hired to essentially rough people up for money. Like, people hire him to get other people to leave them alone. Kind of like a hitman. Kind of like Deadpool.
Well, but he doesn't kill him.
No.
He just beats the shit out of him.
In the first movie, Deadpool didn't kill that guy.
Which guy?
At the very beginning, when he was like
when he was not doing his mercenary shit,
yeah,
and headbutt that guy with the pizza. Yeah, he didn't kill that guy. He probably should have, but he didn't.
So kind of like that regard. And he is sent by someone's parent to rough up the boyfriend of an underage child, which good on you as a parent. Because he was 3 times her age. First of all, that's
so 13, so that's fucking 39.
Okay, first of all, that guy that they hired as that actor was not 39.
No, he was like max 30.
Yeah, like definitely
max.
in his 20s, like I would say even like mid 20s, early 20s. But yeah, he's hired. We get his opening by him going, basically beating this guy up, stay away from underage girls, basically. And then he mentions that he's from New York, and
yeah.
he mentioned specifically Riverdale, which then proceeded me to make several Riverdale jokes. Yeah, he says the Bronx, Riverdale. And I was like,
is that a place?
I was like, is that a real place
in New York? You've been there.
I don't know of a Riverdale other than the one where Archie is.
All right,
and Jughead.
I'm gonna look into it. That's where I'm gonna be for a minute.
I would say though that this guy would definitely fit in really well in Riverdale. Like, you could throw him into that middle of that plot and it wouldn't even, I wouldn't bat an eye. But Riverdale is also batshit fucking crazy, so. Great show, watch it. I wrote Lamau, this shit's dumb.
Oh, it's a neighborhood in the Bronx.
It is? It's a real place?
Yeah. It's a neighborhood in the Bronx.
Thank you for repeating.
Next to Kingsbridge.
Thank you for repeating.
North of Fort George. See, it's there. Hold on, start another sentence so I can interrupt you again.
No.
Well, this is going to be a terrible podcast if we just don't talk for the rest of it. Look, I'm showing you where Riverdale is.
I see it.
It's in the Bronx.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Google, for answering the question I didn't really ask.
I asked it, and then I needed an answer.
Oh my god, we are so all over the place right now. So yeah. I wrote Lamau, this shit's dumb, because the whole movie is dumb. Just as a general statement, the whole shit is kind of stupid. It's stupid humor. It's stupid. It's funny. I laughed. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. But it's dumb. It's very dumb. You're gonna keep squinting your eyeballs at me? What?
Carry on.
No, what?
Carry on.
No, you're gonna make Martin.
I'm gonna Martin Short all over the place. Dude.
You're gonna make Oliver Putnam noises. You gotta back him up with some reasoning there.
He doesn't.
Sometimes he does.
Sometimes.
So yeah, okay. Then we jump over to this other guy who's a detective, kind of. He's not a detective on any force, nor is he like really a private detective or like a private investigator. He's just a private detective, which I guess is somewhere in between the two. I think he used to be on the force, if I remember his little narration opening correctly, but then his wife died and then he didn't want to do it anymore and blah blah blah. So yeah, anyways, that's Ryan Gosling. The other one's Russell Crowe. He is a very shitty detective. This movie should be changed. We should change the name of it to The Lucky Guys, because they are insanely lucky and horrifically bad. And the only reason any of this movie happens is because of insane luck. So, I did have a laugh moment, and I put a little laughy face. I did stop keeping track because I genuinely was enjoying the movie, so I didn't want to keep like a count total like I normally would for James's silly movies that I'm supposed to watch. But I did have one acknowledgement of when he's trying to bribe the bartender to tell him, and he has a little origami folded
Dollar shirt.
And he's like, I made this. And the guy's like, I made this with his bat. And that was just really funny. And then he tries to go into the bar after hours to get a receipt to prove that this chick that he's looking for, Amelia, was at the bar. And he tries to punch a window. And I've never seen anyone punch a window more stupidly in my life. Like, first of all, that's not how you punch a window. He tried to start it off right by like wrapping his hand, but he didn't like wrap the rest of his arm.
Holland March is bad. He's very bad.
Yes. And then, first of all, that's not how you punch a window. So, second of all, there are a million things on the ground that he then falls into as he bleeds out that he could have used to open or punch the window. So, you know, bad. Very bad. I don't know how he does anything other than he's a con man, basically. Then we jump. He basically slices open his arm, gets taken to the hospital because he's like bleeding out because you cut an artery. That's what happens. Exactly. You do use the side of your fist to punch, or the back, not the freaking. Don't punch through
I don't know.
the window.
It feels like angling your wrist to look like a striking snake is the most efficient way to punch through a plate glass window.
Or, the real way you should do it is just with your elbow.
Or hit it with a thing from the alley.
Yeah, really, there's 1,000 different options that you could have done other than what March does. So he's in the hospital bleeding out, and we flip back to Russell Crowe's character, whose name I cannot remember right now. Healy, that's his name.
Yep.
Who sleeps in jeans. Ew.
Yep.
If you sleep in jeans, please walk into the sea.
Wow. Aggressive.
You can come back from the sea, but
maybe you should. You can come back. I need you to go take a quick dip into the nearest body of water. Salt water, mind you, no fresh water.
I'm not encouraging anyone to unalive themselves.
I need you to take your jeans out into the salt water so that they shrink slightly and stick to your legs permanently, you sick fuck. Sleeping in jeans. What kind of soulless hellspawn are you? America hates jean sleepers. Put it in writing.
That one you can. Absolutely. Quote it, stamp it.
Send them to the gulag.
But do go walk into the sea with your denim. Thank you. Okay, listen. I couldn't imagine wearing jeans for like any
You can't imagine wearing jeans for more than 2 hours.
Yeah. Let alone like sleeping in them. I've seen you do it. You sleep in jeans sometimes, and it's bad.
So I don't sleep overnight in jeans. That'd be outrageous. I shimmy too much.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
You can fall asleep in jeans, though.
we find out that Healy's person, wife, girlfriend, not really sure, leaves him because she's sleeping with his dad.
I fucking forgot about that cutaway.
And context matters. So
I'm fucking your father.
so
What?
Healy's not young.
No.
Like he's like
not.
30s, 40s, probably closer in the 40s, 50s range. So, how old is his dad?
Oh my
I'm not
God.
kink shaming. I just need to know for my own knowledge. I need to know
Oh my goodness.
how old his dad is. Like, at minimal, he has to be like,
He's got to be in his 60s, 70s.
yeah.
Yeah. And she's fucking him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Context matters. Then we get the crossing of the roads where Healy basically shows up at March's house because Amelia has paid Healy to get people to leave her alone and stop following her.
Yes.
And one of the people that's following her is March, or trying to find her anyway.
Yes.
March is the least of her problems. Also, she gets mad at Healy later because he didn't do his job properly. But also, she only paid him to get rid of like 2 people, and she only knew where one was.
And then there was just a whole selection of guys.
There's like a horde of people after her ass. So, yeah. He says that he wants to play a game, and I really like this. I really like this moment because he's like, we're gonna play a game, and like throws March across the room. When March says something, he's like, the game is the only person that gets to talk is me, and I just really like that. It was funny. I like that game. This is a great game. And then we see just how incompetent March is compared to Healy. As they do their little interaction, he constantly tries to like grab a gun, shoot, he like defend himself in any way, and he's
bad.
So bad. So they have this little exchange. He tells Healy to leave Amelia alone. Healy's like, great, don't want to be doing this job anyways. Not that he was really doing it. And then we kind of find out that March was hired by Mrs. Glenn to find her niece, who's the porn star from the car crash called Misty Mountains.
Bearing in mind, she is dead.
She's dead. She's confirmed dead. But Mrs. Glenn swears that she saw her niece in her house and like 2 days after she died. And so that's why he's looking for Amelia, because that Amelia was supposedly in the area the night that Misty Mountains was seen by her aunt. Which we all know is not possible, so March is trying to find Amelia to figure out what's going on. And so this is kind of a little bit of a case of mistaken identity as we kind of go back and forth between Healy and March's quest lines, essentially, which is Amelia and Misty Mountains being interchangeable for quite some time. And no one really knows who is who. So, we then get March goes and gets back in his car after shaking down Mrs. Glenn for more money, because he's basically a con artist. And his daughter is driving the car. Is his daughter old enough to drive?
It's the 70s, it doesn't matter. Nothing is real in the 70s.
Are you sure?
No. But I'm confident in saying it.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, your children shouldn't drive your car, but um, this is when we get introduced to Keith David in the film. I've never seen Keith David act in person before, to my knowledge. So it was kind of exciting to see him. I've only ever experienced him voice acting, so it was kind of cool to see him like
Act.
physically in person act.
He's so good.
I really enjoy Keith
He's
David.
so good.
I just wrote I've never seen Keith David act before. Excitement. He shows up with this other guy whose character is only known as Blueface, which is dumb, but they're there to attack Healy because Healy knows where Amelia is because he had contact with Amelia and they're trying to find Amelia. Healy doesn't know where Amelia is because he just took the money and did the job. So they're trying to rough him up to figure out where Amelia is, and he doesn't know. And the reason the character's name is called Blueface is because basically in this whole exchange between the two of them, he opens up a booby-trapped bag and it explodes blue paint all over his face. And
he was warned.
Yeah, Healy warned him, and it doesn't come off apparently. So
it stains his face blue.
Yes, which is why he's called Blueface, and they decided not to write another character name for him at all. And then also in exchange, they just straight up murder an innocent bystander.
Like, yeah. His gun fires and he shoots someone in the adjacent.
The amount of innocent people that die in this movie.
That's a lot. Because
everybody's incompetent is a lot. I'd like to see a kill count for this movie. I wonder if there is one. I'll have to go check that YouTube page. Shout out to Kill Count on YouTube. But, yeah, no, there's just a lot of people that die for, like, no reason other than just people are incompetent and suck. Everyone's bad in this movie. Everyone is bad at their job. Head to toe. Everyone is bad at their job. We then get another joke, and I don't remember who said it, but James might be able to help me remember. Oh no, I remember. So then we flip back over to March.
I did my job so good right there.
You did. You telepathically told it to me. We then flip back to March, who is at his daughter's birthday party. And all the kids are like asking him questions and so enthralled with him for reasons I don't know. And well, the joke that he said was he swore, like I think he said Jesus Christ or something like that, and one of his daughter's friends was like, "You just took the Lord's name in vain," and he said, "No, I didn't. I enjoyed using it. It wasn't in vain." That is an excellent joke, and I will be using it from now on. Anytime someone says that I take the Lord's name in vain, I'm just gonna be like, it wasn't in vain. I used it appropriately, and I enjoyed using it. So, not in vain. There is no way it's only 14 people. Sorry, podcast. I just got live chat that says that the kill count is 14. There's no fucking way. So many people die. So many people. Oh, God, I'm gonna spend break counting how many people die. Because there's no way it's that small. No chance it's only 14 people. I say that and I'm already second guessing myself going, I guess it could be. I guess I didn't see that many people die. I don't know. Anyways. This is where we get another meeting of March and Healy coming together because Healy now is really invested in finding Amelia because these people came to his house and were looking for Amelia because he knew Amelia. So in order to make sure that people aren't coming to his house, he now needs to find Amelia for himself. So he's going to hire March. That's his decision. Stupid decision, but he's going to do it. March is an idiot. Healy confronts him in a bathroom stall where he is hiding from all the children at the birthday party. And he's taking a poop. and proceeds to just the whole sequence is really funny, but also just like so stupid. Like, I don't know how March functions as a human being, let alone a fucking detective, okay? Because he tries to pull up his pants and can't because his hands are full between the newspaper and the gun. And he was gonna pull up his pants without wiping. Like, there's just the whole sequence is just like a cacophony of watching him be stupid, which I get is the point, but it's just too much. I don't know. It felt like it didn't need to a scene that didn't need to be there really. Other than for laughs because bathrooms are funny. Bathroom humor. Haha, laugh please. He is too drunk all the time, you are correct. We do get some good reacting from Ryan Gosling. One of the greatest traits of an actor for me is not how well they act when they're the one performing, but how well they react to the performances that are going on around them. And he does a really good job of reacting through the whole next sequence of Healy trying to get him to take on this case. So they come to an agreement through a lot of back and forth and money and stuff to basically both work on the case of finding Amelia. And the first place that March takes Healy is to Amelia's protest group's protest. And this is another one. So they're protesting the environmental damage done by the pollution from cars. They're basically, the smog is so bad that the birds are dying is their whole thing. And they're all laying down on the steps of like the Capitol building or the whatever, yeah, like the city court or whatever, the steps. And they're all laying there pretending to be dead because the smog in the air was so bad that it kills them. This scene's really funny, but it was another moment of like retroactively thinking back to A, how people thought in the 70s, and then B, 2016 when this was written, which wasn't that long ago. But if you could only tell like those environmental protesters the state of the world now versus like in the 70s, like how appalled they would be just from the state of everything. So it's definitely, it was just another retroactive moment. I did that a lot in this movie because I'm surprised they made this movie in 2016. I don't think you could make this movie in the 2020s. There's words that are used and everything like that I'm just like, I don't know if this would fly nowadays. I don't know if Gen Z would be cool with it, but who knows? I thought it was made a lot earlier than 2016. It definitely gives early aughts vibes. One of the things is like Holly, March's daughter, uses the, no, she doesn't. Chet uses the, no, it's not. Oh my god, I'm getting so confused. There is a character who I don't think we ever figured out the name of, but it's this kid on a bicycle, and he uses the F slur. And at one point, Holly uses the R word, and so there's just some things in here now that I'm like, I don't know if this movie would play as nicely in the 2020s. But again, I thought it was made a lot earlier, so maybe I'm wrong. So the next thing where we meet this kid on the bicycle is they get a volunteer from the protest by offering them $20 to take them to where Amelia's boyfriend died, because that was the information they got from the kids that were dying on the steps. One person volunteers. It's Chet. He's a projectionist is his job title, and he takes them to a house that was burned down where Amelia's boyfriend died, and the film that Amelia and the boyfriend were working on was also burned up. And we hear from the kid on the bike that it was the famous porn director was working with them. Oh, I don't know his name. Hang on. Sid Shattuck was working with Misty Mountains and Amelia's boyfriend Dean to make this movie. So their next step is to go to a party at Sid Shattuck's house. Which is just a porn star party. There is just naked people everywhere. Imagine everything that you think a Playboy Mansion party is like, and that's pretty much what it was. I didn't take many notes during the party scene because there's just a lot going on, and none of it really was like important enough to take a note or make a joke about. Other than there's a line about, like, in the background you hear two porn stars talking about how oh god, I've said that word a lot. I don't think you can say that on YouTube. Oh well. There's a couple of the actresses who are talking about something that someone asked them to do, and she said if he wanted me to do that, I told him he needs to not eat asparagus. Ew. No kink shaming. Ew. And then I thought that March got drugged because of how quickly he just, like, spirals out of control. But apparently he's just an alcoholic, but he's, like, the world's worst alcoholic because it takes, like, so little alcohol to get him wasted. Now, I hear what you're about to type in chat or comments or say in your head as you drive, that it's because he's drinking all the time, that when he gets drinks at a bar that he's already, like, consumed enough alcohol that he's just gonna get fucked up immediately. I hear you. That's a possibility. But it just goes from, like, 0 to 100 so fucking fast without explanation that it doesn't play well. It doesn't really make sense. And it happens a couple times. There's a couple times where he just, like, gets to a bar, has, like, 1 or 2 drinks, because that's how much time has passed, or that's how much we see him consume, and he's literally, like, blackout wasted. It seems unrealistic. I can only suspend my disbelief so much, okay? I also forgot to mention that March's daughter followed them there by hiding in his trunk, and he sends her away in a cab, and then she still comes back to this party because she wants to help them solve the case for some reason. I don't know. She's a weird kid. She's also kind of better than everyone else, but she's also an asshole and also is kind of stupid. But she's probably the smartest of the rest of the characters. But she is the only one out of the 3 of them there at that party looking for Amelia who actually makes any headway in finding Amelia. It does eventually lead to her getting kidnapped, but she gets more information than March or Healy does. And March ends up tumbling down a hill and stumbling upon Amelia randomly, even though he doesn't know it's her, even though, I mean, he's drunk AF, but, like, you've been looking for this chick and showing her picture around for, like, ever. I feel like even in my drunkest state, I'd be like, hey, you're that chick that I've been looking for. You're her. What are you doing in the woods? Like, I feel like that's where I would do, and he just doesn't, because he's so bad. He's so bad that even if he wasn't drunk, I feel like he wouldn't know it was her. And then there's a dead body, and it turns out that Sid Shattuck has been murdered. So now we've had the director of the movie dead. You have the producer dead, and someone's trying to hunt down one of the main actresses, and the other main actress is dead. So someone's going around killing all these people on the movie set, and that's kind of the mystery that we have now, is figuring out who is murdering the people. Their plan, because Healy eventually finds March, and March shows him the dead body, and their plan is to throw up and then move the dead body. because March thinks that the woman he saw is going to ID him and tell everyone that he did it because he has a gun. So their plan is to throw up, hide the body. They hide the body by just tossing it over a random fence, which isn't. I don't know if you're like me and you're a true crime nut and you've ever thought about hiding a body. And I'm going to be careful about what I say here because I feel like we're already on several strikes on YouTube between Black Swan and this movie and the 50 Shades of Grey episode that we did. But if you've ever thought about how you'd hide a body, I don't think your first response would be to chuck it over a random fence. I don't know. That's just me. I've listened to a lot of true crime. So Holly ends up getting kidnapped, basically, briefly, by Blueface because she was going around asking questions about Amelia, and one of the corn stars took her to Blueface, basically. So she's in danger. Everybody's an idiot. And then we basically get a lot of people dying. Maybe it adds to 14, maybe it doesn't. A lot of people dying because of incompetence. So the fight breaks out between Healy and Keith David's character, Keith David, I don't know why I keep putting an S there. No, I guess that one would be an S because possessive. Wow, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Keith David's character. And yeah, so they have a fight. Their random shooting ends up killing a bunch of people. Amelia ends up getting seen by Blueface, and Holly and Amelia escape Blueface and start taking off. Blueface tries to chase them down in a car. March finds out that Holly was in the car because the valet told him so, and tries to chase. He steals someone else's car to chase down Blueface, who's trying to chase down Amelia and Holly. Are we all following? Healy wins the fight with Keith David and takes off to go find Amelia and Holly and Blueface and March. Blueface catches up to them, immediately confronts them, and through confronting them, gets run over by a van. Amelia takes off, and Healy shows up, and Holly's trying to save the man on the ground because she's a good person or whatever, even though the man was trying to kill her. And Healy sends her to go find, like, someone to flag down for help. He then murders the man. Holly comes back. Her dad, having previously crashed into a tree because he was drunk driving, drives up, and then the cops show up. And that, let's see, where are we at in my notes? We're a little over halfway, so that's kind of where I'm gonna wrap episode 1. Is the cops showing up with after Blueface has been murdered, because then we're gonna pick up into the second half of the plot where we find out a little bit more about what's been going on with Amelia and this movie. But yeah, that's The Nice Guys. As you notice, if you're listening to this and you're not watching, my counterpart James, we're new parents, and so he's on baby duty since I've never seen this movie and I'm talking about it the most. He's on baby duty, and he went to go respond to our baby, so it was kind of just a lot of me talking at you. But that's kind of how it's going to be from here on out until baby gets a more stable sleep schedule. We're getting close, but we did have to adjust his bedtime just recently to another hour earlier. So it's just going to be a little bit of adjustment as we work out these kinks, but we appreciate your patience with that and with uploading and everything. You guys are super supportive and great. But yeah, we will catch you next time to finish talking about The Nice Guys. Alrighty, live chat. Thank you to you guys as well for all of your patience and support and being here every time. We love you all. Let's see here. Let me save this. Also, super shout out, like, I know I'm gonna sound super cheesy and like a stereotypical YouTuber here, but please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment, follow, all that jazz. Um, it really helps the channel. Share it with your friends, you know, etc., etc. I can look up that kill count. Hang on, let me go. I don't want to be in YouTube Studio. Go away. I'll see if there's a kill count. There's a carnage count. That's not what I want. I mean, lots of people have made the movie or made the like a video about it. Not the kill count guy himself, but people have done it. So I can do that. I'll watch it and I'll confirm. I'll watch a video. Yes. So thank you guys for your support, especially as we figure out these new kinks and stuff with the baby. Close that. Open that. Boop. All right. It is time to vote before we take a break. Well, before I take a break. It looks like the child is calming down and putting himself to sleep, so it should be a smoother second half. I don't think there's a Cinema Sins. I feel like I would know that, but I haven't checked. I can right now though, while we're hanging out. Cinema Sins. Nice. Guys. Go. There is. Okay, so there is a Cinema Sins for this movie. Everything Wrong with the Nice Guys in 20 Minutes or Less. So you can go watch that. All right, so next movie. I had a request for this one, even though it was already on our list. It came from Hannah, so I'm gonna put it on here again because I too think it would be funny to hear James talk about it, and it was on the vote last week and it almost won. Let's see here. It's now spooky season, so I'm gonna put the new Ghostbusters movie on here. Ghostbusters, what's the new one called? It's Frozen something. Ghostbusters. Frozen Empire. Yeah, that's Cinema Sins, Brie. Frozen Empire. Alright, that was dumb. Why did it do that? Okay. Then we're gonna put BFG on here so that James can watch another Roald Dahl one if you want him to watch that. And then we're gonna do we're gonna do one that's been on the list before. Let's see here. Actually, okay. I'm gonna I'm torn. I'm torn. Yeah, it's not gonna win, so why bother putting it on there? We're gonna put this one on there. This is the new Disney movie. I've heard it's shit. It ain't October yet. No, but it is officially fall. And by the time we record this movie, it will be October. Yeah, October used to be the 8th month, and then Julius Caesar was an emperor, and he decided to give himself and hit someone in relation to him. Don't remember if it was like his nephew or his. I don't think it was his son. I feel like it was his nephew. His nephew Augustus. A month, so that's where we got July and August, which changed the number of the months because it used to just be 8, 9, 10, 11. October, November, December. So I guess 8, 9, 10. But yeah. So, there's your little history. There's your little history lesson for you, for those of you who don't. Those of you who didn't know and those of you who care. All right. I'm going to go make sure that my household is taken care of, and I will be right back. Yes. They used to be the correct number. And then Julius Caesar fucked it all to hell. Changing the bedtime by an hour is not going swimmingly, but that's okay. I didn't expect it to. I know it was going to be a little bit of a mess. It just happened that the mess also happened on a recording night. Sorry, it sounded like something fell, but I think James just either closed or opened the door aggressively. What did you want to vote for, Bree? Did you want to vote for Ghostbusters? I think it's because you have an Android, but did you? I don't know why that came out like as like a gentle parenting sarcastic TikTok. Did you want to vote for the Ghostbusters movie? Did it hurt your heart that it made you select the Bring It On movie for the second week in a row? I mean, he sleeps basically through the night right now, so he'll sleep. He slept for a full night once this week for a full 6 hours, and then, but typically he sleeps like for a 3 hour plus chunk, wakes up for me, and I do at the witching hour, which is typical. And I do a feed and a change of diaper for him, and then he goes back down for another like 3+ hours. And then sometimes he'll even do like a morning snooze after he wakes up after that for like another 2. So, I'll I'll honor it. We can do Ghostbusters because we need to do Ghostbusters because we did the original Ghostbusters anyways, or not the original, the first one. So I'm gonna honor your choice because I did it last time. I'm not gonna not do it this time. So we're gonna do Ghostbusters. I wish it was like I wish we were back on I wish we were back on like Twitch and you could buy more votes with your nuggets of friendship, but we're not. So Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, it shall be. Let me cross it off so that I know it's done. Nice Guys isn't even on this list. How did this get added last time? Alright. Ah! This thing is not coming off of here that well. There we go. Okay. It's literally the most recent thing added on this list. That's okay, because we need to watch it, so. Ghostbusters. I know you don't want us to watch Bring It On, because I know what type of movies you like. And you don't... I don't see you as the person that's liking Bring It On. Sorry, there's a weird fuzz that's acting weirdly. I'm fine, I swear. I just was scared that like it was connected to a spider web or something, but it's not. Alright. Oh, that's why. I was like, how did this get on this list? Not even on my thing. I just need to see how you're voting. I learned from when you came to my house and everyone was like, "What? Yeah, let's watch Mean Girls," and you were like, "I really don't want to watch that movie," and then you proceeded to suffer through it. That I know I cannot imagine you watching Bring It On. I've seen how many Bring It Ons have I seen? 3 at least, if not more. My personal favorite's Bring It On, All or Nothing, but I love Hayden Panettiere, so yes, we will watch Ghostbusters. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes to see if James can make it back. But yeah, I knew it was gonna be rough because his bedtime was 9 as of like the past week. And that was working fine, but we do need to move it to that 8 range. So that was such a painfully funny movie. I don't know. It's kind of like I told you guys then. It's kind of like the Cinderella movie for me, where it's just such garbage that I kind of enjoy watching it because I find it funny now. Except I love Cinderella way more than the Mean Girls remake. Don't get me wrong. That movie holds a special place in my trash heart, and I've watched it so many times. But let's see here. I need to go back to my notes, leave my baby app, and find out where I was before we start recording. Oh, I had so many notes. I had so many notes about this damn fight. All right. All right, we're going to give it one more minute, and then we're gonna go. I had so many notes about that freaking fight, that whole party. Oh well, such is life. All right, we're gonna go for it. Just me tonight, solo. 3, 2, 1. Since James is not here to mess up my super awesome intros that I do every single time, I'm America. James is not here right now. This is CityWavesCinema, and we're talking about The Nice Guys. James would be here right now, but as I said in the last episode, and I'm going to repeat because for some reason a bunch of you guys just like listening to the second parts and not the first parts. I don't judge you all that much. I'm confused, and I would like to know why. But just because that's a thing, I'm going to reiterate for everyone at the beginning of this one that we are new parents, and because I'm the one that's never seen this movie and I'm the one reacting to it, James is on baby duty tonight. And currently our baby is being a little bit fussy. So he is not here at the start of this recording. If he's able to join us before it ends, he will be here. If not, it's just us hanging out tonight or today. Whatever time you're listening to this, it's just us. So, Nice Guys. We left off at the end of the porn star party. And the cops showed up because a guy died. And that's typically what happens when people die and there's a bunch of gunshots and people fighting. Cops show up. We find out from the cops or I guess, let me start this over. Healy and March get recruited by the head of the Justice Department of Detroit to find Amelia, because Amelia is the head of the Justice Department's daughter. This is Judith Kuttner is the character's name. And she claims that like her daughter's delusional and is just acting out and making this video to basically destroy and embarrass her mom and blah blah blah. Basically rich kid rebellion is kind of how she plays it off. So they agree to take the job, and March is basically a con man because he's like trying to get as much money out of this as possible. Little does he know he could have gotten way more money if he wasn't incompetent at being a con man as well, because Judith was writing a check for them for $10,000 and he said it's going to be at least $5,000. She was like, "Oh, sweet," and tore up the original check and wrote one for $5,000 instead. So I stopped taking as much notes in the second half because it honestly, and James isn't here to listen to hear me say this, and he's really bad about watching back our podcast, so the idea that he'll ever find this out is small. Honestly, the movie's pretty good. It's fun to watch. It's not super serious or anything like that. It's not the most entertaining movie or the most anything, but it's a good movie. It's a good watch, and it does really pick up in the second half, so my notes kind of fall off. But they agree to take the job. Healy shows up at their house, at March's house, after we get some backstory about Healy, that he basically feels like he's worthless all the time, except for one time when he took down someone that was attacking a diner. Um, and he took that guy down, and that's the only time he's ever felt useful. And that's the best he's ever felt about himself, which is sad. And we also find out that March's wife died in a fire when their house burned down, which is where Holly goes and reads. She keeps reading in this vacant lot. So we get a lot of backstory in this little chunk right after they get hired by Judith. They also, there's this Healy was warned by Blueface before he killed him that John Boy was coming to kill everybody. All witnesses basically. So that's also something that's looming on Healy's mind as we move into the second half. They basically follow a lead, which they think Healy thinks it's a flight. Because he retrieved this piece of paper, which was the same piece of paper that Amelia had written on to give him his first job. He retrieves it from the director's house and brings it with him as a clue the next day when they're reviewing evidence. So Healy and March disagree on what they think it is. Healy thinks it's a flight. March thinks it's an apartment number because there's a flight curfew, which I've never heard of, but maybe in the 70s, I don't know. Between 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. So no flights would be going on when the time is written on the note card. Turns out they're both wrong, and it's actually for a hotel room. So they go to the hotel where they interview another bartender who tells them that Amelia's upstairs in the penthouse meeting with business people apparently who have like bodyguards and stuff. And so they're like, all right, well, we'll just go up there and see what's what. They make a comment that it's not the smart choice, but it's the right choice. And, that's fair. Sometimes the smart choice is not always the right choice. Welcome back, James. So
maybe the third time down will stick.
So they basically walk in on John Boy already murdering the fuck out of everybody up there.
Yep.
And then, so they're like, they simply decide, nope, we're good. And they go back down the elevator, get in their car. The police have already shown up. And then they're just sitting there, like, trying to figure out next steps. And wouldn't you have it, the luckiest men on the fucking planet, the person that they have been searching for, jumps on the hood of their car.
It's even funnier because they drive away from the club in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
They drive about a block, pull into an alley, and she falls from the sky.
She doesn't even fall. She jumps down. She lands on her feet.
And the funniest thing is, like, after she slips and falls off the hood of the car and hits the ground and gets knocked out, like, March looks up at the sky like, where did she come from? And we don't know. It does not explain.
No, this will not be, no questions will be answered at this time.
How did she get a block away?
How is she not dead? More importantly, this girl, like, lives through so many attacks. So they take her back to March's house, and they find out, basically, Holly and her friend Jessica are there, which is only relevant to things later, so just make a note of it. But they find out that basically, Judith, Amelia's mother, is going to let some people basically off the hook.
The auto manufacturers.
The auto manufacturers off the hook for, I don't even know what the crime is, really.
So they laced this whole thing through the entire movie in sort of background details.
I know it's about the smog.
It's the auto manufacturers colluding to downplay and fudge the numbers on their catalytic converters and how polluting their cars are. And the case is going to go to the court her mom is gonna let them walk because she
Because
is
the automotive.
sort of getting cut in, I think, on
I mean, all politicians are owned by like
businesses.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna be like she's not wrong. She mentions the big three, which is probably oil, uh, weapons, and transportation. I would think pharmacy would be up there too, like
Oh
medical.
yeah, big pharma. They own everything.
So,
In Disney.
maybe not transportation. I don't know, but I get like all politicians are owned, which so it tracks. It all makes sense. Um, so what Amelia has done is she made this movie, a sex movie, to expose her mother's plan with evidence. Like they have names, they've got dates, they got everything in the movie. It's just also a sexual movie
It's
because
just also a porn.
yeah. See, I've been trying to avoid saying that because we're gonna get banned on YouTube.
Oh.
I kind of forgot about that or remembered that halfway through the last episode, but
Whoops.
you've been busy. So anyways, adult film.
Yeah.
There's no real rhyme or reason why it has to be an adult film other than the person, the film's financer is Sid Shattuck, that's all he does. So yeah, they made the film with all the evidence against her mom. They then get a phone call from the assistant named Tally. And Tally be sus as hell.
Yes.
She basically says, hey, I got a call that this person needs $100,000 at this place. Can you like come grab? I'm scared. I'm just like, can you come take the money and give it to the people for me?
Playing on Holland March's obvious horn dog attitude towards her.
And so they're like, yeah, I guess. I mean, March agrees wholeheartedly, but Healy's like, I guess we can do this. March is drunk and ends up falling asleep at the wheel, which causes them to crash, which causes them to reveal that they were not given a briefcase filled with $100,000. Which then they're like, well, why would she lead us on this random goose chase? And then they figure out, oh, it's to get us away from Amelia and the house. So John Boy shows up at the house, throws a child through a window.
Well, he is a murderer.
Has a razor blade, like he's gonna Sweeney Todd some bitch.
He has lots of ways to kill people. He's shown with grenades and guns on him for the rest of the movie.
It's just such a random pull. Like I get it, but like
it's a lot more intimidating than just a knife.
I disagree.
A straight razor? That's spooky.
Okay. Tries to kill Holly for somehow. Well, Holly whips out a gun and points it at him, but somehow both her, Jessica, and Amelia all remain unscathed until March and Healy show up. There's a big to-do about them going back and forth and attacking each other, and it's just another sequence where everyone's kind of really bad. Amelia...
It's proper, everyone's shooting like humans. Like, if you got in an actual gunfight and you weren't, like, trained, that's kind of what it would look like. Everyone missed everyone. And
then John Boy... I don't even remember now. How does the fight end?
March and Healy manage to get into the house. The cops are heard in the distance, so John Boy basically packs it up and leaves.
That's what it was. The cops were showing up. Got it. Amelia climbs out a window, tells Holly to tell Healy thanks for fucking nothing. And then Amelia flags down a car, and guess whose fucking car it is? John Boy. And John Boy just shoots her dead.
Pulls up, one shot, dead.
this is where I start to dislike the movie. Because I thought that was really bad storytelling and writing. Because, I mean, it falls in the same motif as everything else in this movie, where it's like, oh, everyone's really bad at what they're doing. Everyone sucks. And Amelia's no different, but like she got away and survived all this shit and has actually been shown to be pretty resilient and smart because she's been, again, surviving and getting away this whole time. Only to just like throw that all away, all everything that we know about her character, for her to flag down a random car when she knew she was being shot at and the car was coming from the direction that she was being shot at, and just dies. Like, that just felt like a really shitty end for her character. It's like after all of that she dies. Like, it just it didn't feel right. It didn't sit right from a storytelling standpoint for me. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe people disagree, but for me, I just like it really ruined like the whole story for me. Like, I just at that moment, like the whole movie kind of just fell off because I was like, well, that's dumb. So yeah, she's dead. And then we kind of get like the breakthrough of everything kind of connects the next warning. Because Mrs. Glenn, who, if you remember from way back when, the one that hired March, she shows up and is explaining to Healy how March is supposed to be looking for her niece, and that's when they start putting things together. And they go back to the niece's apartment. It turns out that it wasn't the niece that the old lady saw, it was the movie that Amelia made. Amelia had gone to, after the original film burnt down, she had sent one to Misty Meadows? Misty Mountains?
Misty Mountains.
Misty
Meadows is where you land in Fortnite.
Misty Mountains, she'd sent her a copy. After the original was burned down, she went to Misty Mountains' house to go check it, and she played it on the screen, which is what the aunt saw. So, yes, Misty Mountains is dead. No, it wasn't Amelia
in the clothes.
In the clothes. It was just the video playing on the wall of the apartment. So I'm sorry.
Did you guys see that? She tried to kill me live on air.
It was a paintbrush.
She nearly took my eyeball out.
For those of you listening, I've been
she's been fidgeting
with a paintbrush, and I lost my grip on it and it flung at James's face. So yeah. That's when they figure out from a note that was on the table that they're screening the movie at the automotive show that night, and Chet, the projectionist, if you recall from way back when, is going to put it on display, and they're going to out her mom
and the auto
manufacturers at
their own event.
It's
a ballsy maneuver.
It is. It's a smart plan, honestly. Like the whole plan by the filmmaking team was super smart. I think that's why it kind of bothers me that Amelia died right before then, because it just didn't feel right.
Well, you can't have you put it a certain type of way where there's too many people that have too much good luck in this movie, right? Well, you have to balance it out with some bad luck. Amelia's gotten by throughout the whole movie on basically the kindness of strangers and people that she doesn't know, that she puts blind faith into. And so she applies the principle one more time, and bad luck happens to be the guy who's trying to find her to kill her at her mother's request. So it just I don't think it falls to the category of bad storytelling. I think it is the catalyst to make our heroes go from being middling gray figures in a world of right and wrong to being on the right side of things.
I mean, they were already on the right side of things.
They were on the right side of things, but they were also basically about to just be like done. They were about to give up. And this is adding gunpowder to the explosion of do the right thing. And that's a central theme throughout the movie is do the right thing, not the smart thing. And the smart thing would be for them to not try to go up against the Detroit auto manufacturers and the head of the Justice Department. That would be the smart thing, is to not do that. The right thing is to absolutely try. And so they did. If anything, the big luck thing that should be frowned on later is when they it's when they get busted out of jail basically by their lawyer friend.
Yeah, that happened right before.
Yeah. Is it post shootout?
Yeah.
Before? Yeah, that's luck undeserving. But it's also the luck of you know a guy, you know? So and loads of people know loads of people. So I don't think there's anything in the movie that's like outside the realm of reality in terms of like this could happen, but I think it's just certain times the stars aligned and not always for the better.
Okay.
So now at the auto show.
The auto show, they go up to the projection room and Tally is there because of course she is. And she has them cornered until Holly shows up and again through luck she gets knocked unconscious.
Oh, it is pure luck. She slips.
Yeah, she slips and smacks her head. The amount, literally,
the tomfoolery before that is so funny.
I mean, like, that's how every death of a major character goes, basically, is just major. That's why I keep saying they should change the name of this movie to The Lucky Guys, not The Nice Guys.
It's tongue-in-cheek, too, though, because, like, she knocks herself out, and the guys go, wow, that really worked out. Like, the main characters in the movie acknowledge that they have gotten away with a bunch of bullshit the whole time, which is funny.
I mean, yeah, March really starts to acknowledge it too. He's like,
I think I'm invincible.
Yeah.
I don't think I can die.
We get
so
before he says that line, when they split up to go find the projectionist because he went to go grab a drink, so they split up to go search 2 different bars. Holly gets kidnapped basically
by Keith David.
Or held hostage is more of an accurate statement. By Keith David. Also, can we just talk about Keith David's voice? It is
phenomenal.
It is one of the best voices to listen to. I could listen to him talk forever. Him and Morgan Freeman.
If he's done any audiobooks.
Are really up there for me. Like, I don't know. His voice is just great. He's like, this whole scene is just really fantastic because he's in it and he's trying to basically, he's not even trying to kill March at this point. He's like, why would you involve your child in this? You're an alcoholic. Like, be better for her. Like, doing all this shit as he's holding the daughter at freaking gunpoint.
He literally, like, he stops being a bad guy and he starts trying to be like almost like a vicious accountability partner in a way, where he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Bringing a kid here, doing all this shit. What the hell? You're drunk, you fucking bum, you loser. What's wrong with you? And March's shocker of all shockers, faking it.
Yeah, and then March, through their little scuffle, he tries to save Holly from falling off the roof, ends up falling on the roof himself. Keith David splatters on the ground, and March misses the ground by falling in a pool.
Yep.
I don't know if the physics in that, because I feel like that pool's not deep enough to stop a fall from that high of a height. But we'll suspend disbelief and pretend it
What's
is.
really funny is he also sees Nixon in the pool, which is the ever-present indicator that you are all about to die.
Apparently. Apparently, if you ever see Richard Nixon, you're going to die.
And he tells you it's going to be okay.
Yeah, just know that. If you ever see Richard Nixon and he tells you it's okay, you're going to die. Also, we get basically Holly saves the film because she goes back downstairs, throws the reel out the window as Tally's trying to destroy it. March grabs it and keeps it safe from John Boy and all these things as everybody kind of tussles it out again for the third time. And he ends up saving it. But through this, I just need to tell y'all that white pants, I don't care what white pants they are, white pants are see-through. And March's pants are see-through as hell in this movie.
Yes, they are.
And if you're going to wear white pants are commando pants. Period. End of story. Do not wear underwear with white pants. That's all.
I feel like you'd be able to see his dick.
Shut up, James!
I mean, you said something insane right now. If you're going to wear white pants, don't wear underwear? Dude, what if he's like really tan? What if he's not white?
I mean, but no, it wouldn't, because it would be the same tone, so it wouldn't differentiate from...
What? Do you mean, is what you think you mean, if you're going to wear white pants, wear white underwear?
No, do not wear white underwear with white pants, because you'll really see the white underwear through the white pants.
I'm really trying to understand what you're trying to say right now, and everything you're saying is wrong.
Anything that's not skin tone is going to show through the pants. If your dick is skin tone, which it is, it's not going to show through the pants. It's why women wear nude underwear under see-through things. Or at least they should, and if you're not, fix that. It's why I have so many pairs of nude underwear, so that when things are semi-see-through, like my yoga pants and so on and so forth, I can wear the underwear, and no one, when I bend over, you're not going to see my underwear through my pants.
Here's the thing. To have the argument I want to have about this topic, it is a demonetizing argument. This is one of the first times ever that I will fully acknowledge that I am not willing to talk about myself in the way that I was about to talk about myself and record it and put it on the internet forever. That is, I don't want what I wanted to say, I don't want on the internet. So I'm going to pin that for later for you, and no one else gets to hear it. So we'll discuss that later. But one, you are just fucking wrong. If you're a dude, I don't give a fuck what color your underwear is. If you're wearing white pants, wear underwear. For the love of all that is good in this godforsaken world, wear some fucking underwear. What America said, ignore it. She's wrong. She doesn't know she's wrong. I will educate her later. She doesn't know things about dick physics. She doesn't know anything about dicks at all, which is really a step. We have a child. I don't understand. You have to know something. You have to know at least one thing. Like minimum one. Maybe even two. I can see the child's on the baby monitor right now. I can see him. Like, dude. What? Never mind the movie. What?
I don't understand.
Well, you're gonna learn later. Holy shit. All right. Fuck's sakes. You just want to see Ryan Gosling dick all the time?
No, I don't want to see anyone's dick.
Then why would you tell him not to? Never mind. Never mind. We can pick another thing to talk about, but move on to the next whatever thing to have happen in the movie, because I'm gonna get hung up on this for the next 30 minutes of show.
The movie's coming to an end. We kind of get an epilogue where we find out that it didn't matter that the movie was shown. It didn't matter anything that happened in the entire movie because the car manufacturers basically got away with it still.
Yes.
And
one of the biggest offenders of the "oh, guess what? It didn't matter anyway" movies I've ever seen.
yeah, it really, I don't know, it really let me down from the movie. Like, I get what the message the movie is trying to say, that sometimes like you can do all the right things and it still doesn't matter.
Yes.
I experienced that enough in real life. I don't need that in my escapism material, okay? Like, we don't need to like prove that life is unfair in this funny comedy movie that you were doing. I live it. I know.
Well, hey, at least the mom who went to such great lengths to keep her job intact to the point that it got her daughter killed went to jail for it. So at least one person lost. It wasn't the auto manufacturers and their schemes.
Yeah,
You could also take, if you wanted to get really optimistic about a message from the movie, and I don't necessarily think that this is a movie that's like trying to preach a message, but if you wanted to get really optimistic about a message you could take, it is that it is far easier to hold an individual accountable for their actions than it is to hold a business or company entity accountable for its actions.
once Amelia died, like I said, the movie like really fell off for me in most ways, and one of those ways is the ending. I think it's a dumb ending. It's a I didn't like it. I don't like that Healy's a drunk now.
Healy was a drunk before.
Yeah, but
He
he
just
was,
got clean.
yes. I don't
He was just hammered that one time though. We don't know if he remained a drunk.
I don't like that Healy loses his sobriety. I don't like that they're now in business together as this nice guy's company. Oh, they said the title. I just it just felt very meh at
What
the
would
end.
you have had happen?
Don't ask me that. I'm not a writer. If you've read my writing, you know I suck at endings. I have the Stephen King disease. I cannot write an ending to save my life. I don't know how anything ends. I had this massive like light bulb inspiration moment in my sleep this week. Came up with a brilliant novel plan. It'll never get turned into anything because I don't know how it ends. So don't ask me how I'd make this ending better or what I'd like to have happen, because it wouldn't be better than what it is right now. I just know that I'm dissatisfied with the way that it ended.
Well, let's think about it. Amelia lives, does not get killed by John Boy, somehow stays safe through the show.
I don't even care if she lives. I just didn't like the way that she died.
Right, but that's the moment that everything spiraled out of control for you.
Yes.
So if we go back to that moment and rewrite the movie from there, Amelia lives, she just stays safe at March's house or whatever. John Boy probably tries to kill her a couple more times. Potentially is stalking for her at the Auto Expo. But the film has already been spliced into the show that they're going to show.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing about the auto show changes, whether Amelia's alive or dead. The reel is spliced in because that was the plan with Chet from before. So it's going to play. And if there's no one to fucking figure that out, Healy and March don't go to the auto show. Tally, who knows that the film is going to be shown, it either goes one of two ways. They either figure out that it's spliced into the reel that's going to be shown, and they stop it from being shown, and guess what? Everyone still fucking loses. Or they don't find it, it's shown, and the Department of Justice head uses red tape. Her daughter's not killed, so she's not implicated in anything. She gets away with it and gets the auto manufacturers off the hook because that was her plan anyways. So no matter what happens logically, if you try to rewrite the end of the movie, you're permanently going to be dissatisfied in it, which I think is kind of a shame. but there's not a world based on the facts that were happening in the movie where anything is any different from the what is that one point like they talk about in Deadpool, the universal anchor point.
Yeah.
Like no matter how many different decisions get made, I think the auto manufacturers still always get away with it. Amelia's mother gets away with it. In our world where the movie is the way it is, she gets got because her daughter's killed. Um and no one wins. No one wins anything. At the bare minimum, at the end of the movie the way it is, Helium March get a small win. They put away a corrupt justice official and they get to have a business that is more consistent. I mean, March is scrambling for dollars for the whole movie, and now he's not going to be anymore because they've got potential work in the pipeline. So that's optimistic for the future for them and for what's his daughter's name? It escapes me.
Holly?
Holly, and for Holly in their future. Maybe they'll rebuild their house. Uh, I I don't know. The movie also for me doesn't go that deep. I think for me, I've always viewed the movie as this an example of Ryan Gosling being the funniest human on set at all times.
I think I did write the description of this YouTube video is James has a type because you tend to like the same type of movies and you find the same humor funny. And this falls under that category for you. 100%.
What's the category? Tell me about myself. Welcome to Therapy 101.
It's more just like I said, you like the same type of things. Like you like Ocean's 11 and you like Anchorman and you like your comedy and your interest in movies kind of have the same type of things that you like, which is that true of anyone though.
I like me some snappy dialogue. I like me some absurdist humor, and
You like physical comedy a
I
lot.
do love me some physical comedy. That bathroom sequence lives in my mind rent free, where he can't manage the magazine, the gun, the door, and his cast all at the same time.
So you really missed us talking about that in the first episode and how
I'm
it.
tending to my child. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm going to tell you what's happening.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
It really felt unnecessary for me, that whole scene, and I think someone else commented that they agreed with that.
For me, that scene, in terms of story, like to put on my writer hat instead of my just generic movie fan hat. I like that scene because it continues to show that the more March does things selfishly, the more inept he is. He is only the worst detective ever, as coined by his daughter, because he does things selfishly, which is um it's a reversal from the sort of hard knock detective archetype from the movies of the 50s and the 40s, where your detective is this sort of anti-hero who never does anything really selfishly other than his self-loathing behaviors like chain smoking, which March does, or drinking, which March does. While he is indulgent in his self-destructive behaviors, he is regarded as a clown. He is bumbling. He is incompetent in almost any way. And when he stops and does things to benefit people around him, when he does things to benefit Holly, when he does things to benefit Healy, when he does like the point of his job, which is to benefit his clients, he's actually good. He's actually clever. He actually figures things out, and he's a acceptable man of action. Maybe not the best or prime in any way, but I think that scene in particular serves to show you Healy as the man of action who gets things done, and the straight man to the clown that is March. And you know, you could break down the analysis on it for 4 fucking hours about how it's this gritty detective movie. Or you can look at it and be like, oh, this is Ryan Gosling doing physical comedy that's for the boys, and that's it.
That's how I choose to look at it.
You're entitled to your opinion. I think it's a lot funnier than you do.
Yes, you do. You think a lot of things are a lot funnier than I do. We have very different types of humor, which is also funny.
It's true.
Because we also find a lot of the same things funny. It really only differs in our
It's the extremes.
Yeah.
My extremes of funny you think are deeply unfunny or boring.
Dumb. Dumb is a word I'd use.
Dumb is a word you'd use, and I would soften it to simple. Simple comedy is sometimes the funniest.
Ugh.
If the joke is easy, the joke is easy. If the joke's too complicated, you look like a fucking asshole trying to tell it.
I'm not to get too psyche on it.
Oh, fun.
But it ties into it almost ties, and I didn't hear it until you said it like that, until you said it was simple. It kind of ties into my neurodivergency a little bit of being gifted, where if things are too easy,
yes,
they're boring.
Yes.
So if a joke's so simple, it's not funny. I'd rather have like a lot of witty, smart humor and have multi-level jokes than just funny, haha, toilet, pooping, dumb.
Do you like Shrek?
I do, but Shrek is a very intelligent movie.
Is it intelligent in all those times where they're not doing poop jokes? Because the majority of that script is poop joke.
Shrek
which is actually a DreamWorks hallmark, so.
Yes, I don't like all DreamWorks movies for that reason. But Shrek is a multi-leveled tier of genius writing about, like, turning fairy tales on their heads and, like, the whole... James's face. The whole concept of a fairy tale structure and all the... it's a genius movie. It's commenting on fairy tales and, like, Disney and making fun of that whole genre and the entire company of Disney as a whole. It's so genius and it's meta and it's good.
Man, the guy who wrote that definitely was like, what if I just satirized Disney and made the gross thing the winner?
It's a satire. That's why I like it. Satire is funny. Now, at the base level, when you're just, like, a lot of it is
Poop joke.
just funny, haha, poop jokes. It's for the kid. But, like, if you actually analyze it and break it down, it's a very intelligent film that has multiple levels of funny, and you can enjoy at any age, because when you're a kid, you're laughing at the farts and the poop jokes, and as an adult, you can respect it for the satirical piece of genius that it is.
What movie do you find really funny that I don't? Because I think the overlap exists a lot more in, like, what I find funny from your catalog.
Cinderella.
What?
The Cinderella movie from Amazon. I find that very funny.
Why? We've done 2 full podcast episodes about that movie, and I would like to right now know why you think that movie's funny. In what way? It's not satire. It's written poorly by a drunk on the back of a Burger King napkin, starring a bunch of classless, well, not talentless.
I find Mean Girls funny.
Which one?
The original.
The original is funny. The new one's funny too, in some ways.
We'll have to revisit this conversation when we watch Bring It On.
Oh, is Bring It On a movie that you believe is funny?
Bring It On's hilarious.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it as critically as I can. not negatively, critically.
Bring It On's funny. John Tucker Must Die is funny. The Ugly Truth is funny. 50 First Dates is funny.
50 First Dates is alright, but Adam Sandler has a fucking script and he sticks to it no matter what his movie is.
He has a brand and he sells it.
And
like
he makes millions and millions of dollars, and we won't question him.
Alrighty. Any final thoughts on
The Nice Guys?
The Nice Guys that aren't about our psyche or preferences in comedy?
Man, there's definitely reasons to criticize the movie. I think the whole fucking tally stuff, I think there was probably more stuff in the original script to sort of build this weird infatuation that March has with Tally.
It
That
just felt
didn't
really
it didn't
forced.
make the final cut, and I think that's part of the problem. One thing I always try to remember about movies is the initial script that people agree to make is not always, in fact, probably frequently is not always what you get at the end. The runtime of this movie is 116 minutes.
It was really short.
It's not long. It's shy of 2 hours by a chunk.
Like, we were done at 6, and I was like,
What are we gonna do now?
and I was like,
So
I timed this out wrong.
I think, you can question why executives choose to do the things that they do till the day you die. I think there was more stuff they could have done to flesh out the characters a little more in this movie, that are not March and Healy, but this aspect of March is sort of like out of nowhere and doesn't really have a place.
Especially
Like,
when he's like in the process of mourning his wife.
yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I have to wonder if the original variety of the script built that up a little more to where they alluded to him dating again or something of that nature. But they don't, and so every time he talks to Tally or talks about her, it's like, why do I give a shit? And it cheapens Tally's character actually, because her only function is damsel in distress turned villain, but is incompetent, and that's not compelling, really, if you don't spend time to make them compelling. But I think the character work, um, that Russell Crowe brought to the movie is just really good. You watch the whole movie and you watch, in my opinion, you watch the two main characters who start as these sort of tortured souls in a way, floundering for purpose and direction through sheer disdain of everyone and everything around them, finding purpose and direction and no longer being these cold-hearted, uh deeply destructive individuals. They become productive, they become positive forces in their universes. And I think that's a really cool part of the movie that a lot of modern movies and scripts don't bother with. I think Marvel has cheapened dialogue deeply. Marvel's dialogue is, how many fucking quips can we put in a scene all the time? In every movie, it's how many quips, how many quips, how many quips. How can we allude to the name of the movie to make people go, "Oh, they said the thing"? Like, it's that sort of thing. It cheapens it. But like the scene where Healy tells March, who is wasted and passes out mid story, the story of how he got recognized as the diner guy, a guy who lost his temper and saved a bunch of people in a diner because he was just angry. And he holds on to that core memory as a reason to give him purpose, a reason to continue on doing things rather than be despondent. And you get to watch that in this movie. And I think a lot of movies that make a lot more money and have a lot more money poured into them do a disservice to their authors and a disservice to their characters by not efforting as much as this movie did with its protagonists.
I think all that's fair. I will say, I feel like Russell Crowe got a lot of hate after Les Mis because of nothing that was his fault, really. Um,
He got hate after Les Mis?
oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
the Community, him singing rough, kind of like Katie Heron singing rough, but it's really not either of their faults. It's the people that cast them. Um, yeah, it's I feel like he got a lot of hate, so it's always good to be reminded that like he is
Like properly talented,
a very
and
talented
good.
actor.
He did Gladiator.
I mean, Gladiator is a fantastic piece of work. But yeah, no, so yeah. Agree to disagree, I guess, on Nice Guys. It was okay. I don't think I'd ever go out of my way to watch it again.
It's one of the movies that I have efforted to watch multiple times because I like it so much.
Most people on this podcast would say I shouldn't get an opinion because I've watched the Cinderella movie like over 10 times. So.
Over 10?
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen it like so many times.
I mean, there's a case to be made for having like a mind-numbing, just brain candy movie. But that brain candy is like
Peeps?
no, because those bring value. Hold on, I gotta think of a good roast here for Cinderella.
All right, well, while James thinks of that, not that we haven't filmed an entire podcast episode, 3 of them actually, if you include the tier list, about Cinderella already. So while James thinks about that, I will wrap up here again. Thank you for your patience with our complications with the recording and stuff. And next time it has been voted on that we're going to be watching Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. So this is your warning to go back and listen to that episode of Ghostbusters Afterlife if you never listened to it, because we've already reviewed that one before we review the next one. So this is your fair warning.
That'd be great because I just don't care for Ghostbusters movies in general.
Go back and listen to Ghostbusters Afterlife. Go back and listen watch Ghostbusters Frozen Empire if you haven't, so you're ready, and we will see you guys
when we see you.
When we see you. Bye. Yeah, okay. Not too shabby for our first time putting him to proper bed.
Listen, it's one thing to have a brain candy movie, but to have a brain candy movie that reduces the IQ of the viewer per times you watch it feels bad.
I thought you were really going to go for like a metaphor.
I wanted to, but I couldn't think of a sugar reference in terms of candy that wasn't like too convoluted. Like it had to be simple to hit good.
Ah, yes, the comedy you like.
Yeah, because if you try to tell a convoluted joke, it sounds like shit.
Not always. Not if you're good at it.
People who are good at it tell stories.
Bree's right, by the way. Ghostbusters movies are great.
I mean, Ghostbusters movies are fine. I just personally don't care for them.
You don't care for any... Name a Halloween-themed movie that you like and enjoy.
Charlie Brown.
I'm sorry. Are you going to tell me that the only Halloween-related content that you like and enjoy is...
a children's cartoon from like the
It's
60s?
The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown?
It's a great movie. The whole arc where Snoopy is fighting the Red Baron? Incredible.
Anything else? Any other?
Do I like other Halloween shit? No?
Your childhood makes me sad.
I mean, I never really cared for Halloween in general because, now bear this in mind, where we grew up in the mountains of Colorado, Halloween, very stereotypically, fucking miserably cold. And while I do love the costumes and stuff and the general vibe of Halloween and even the history of Halloween, I like it very much. Or, you know, I grew up in the church and whatnot, so like we didn't have Halloween. We had like the fall festival or the trunk or treat. And you know, when I did trick or treat, my costume was buried under a parka, or it was snowing, and so we just wouldn't.
Oh, I tread through a blizzard one year. That's just a lack of commitment.
Oh my, commit to hypothermia? You know, I was skin and bones the whole time. I've never retained heat a day in my life. There's no world where I was the guy who was going to be like the Halloween junkie. And I don't like scary movies, so that carves a huge part of the genre out. Horror movies in general I find distasteful.
And you wouldn't have been allowed to watch any of the other good ones because they typically
Yeah,
involved witches.
or demons or what have you. So it's like there's just, I mean, there was never. I mean, like I didn't even watch a lot of like the kids' Halloween movies until you made me watch them as a whole entire adult.
Yeah, because again, childhood.
Witches and shit. Yeah. It's probably due to lack of exposure, honestly, that I just don't have a like positive. I'm not saying I have a negative attunement to Halloween, but like I'm very neutral on it. Like I just don't.
You
care.
lack the nostalgia of childhood.
Yeah, yeah. I have no
with
childhood
Halloween.
yeah, no nostalgia for the holiday at all.
Okay.
It also doesn't help that my birthday is in October, and that to me is way more fucking important.
I always wanted my birthday to be in October because I loved Halloween so much. And I wanted to have like a costume party every year. Having a costume party in March is not nearly as easy to get support behind.
Yeah, that makes sense. I always wanted my birthday to be around Christmas.
Of course you did.
But you know, it's for one of the is a childhood dream. And you know why?
Why? Most children hate having their birthday in December.
Not about gifts. Although my childhood best friend, his birthday is like the day after Christmas.
Ugh.
And it's miserable. It's miserable. But I wanted my birthday to be around Christmas, like within a couple weeks, because that's when everyone's on a winter break. So it's a lot easier to gather people for a party. And it's a lot easier to have like a party that goes into the evening.
See, most people don't like that either. Speaking for my sister now, because I spoke for my brother just with Christmas. Speak for my sister now. Having a birthday when people aren't in school, it's actually like harder to get kids to come to your birthday party because you can't hand out invitations in your class or anything like that. So,
well, that's fair. I think I'm a particular case and not one to be examined because what was my social group? It was my church. Like I didn't go to school. I didn't have friends at school, but my friends went to school and
they were only available
on breaks. So for me, having a birthday on a break, huge.
Returning to my statement in episode 1 of tonight's recording, context matters. Have a good night, everybody.
Nice little bow there at the end. That was good.
Thanks.
It was like a broadcaster's wet dream.
Yeah, it would have been great if it was on podcast, right?